'67 Chevelle. What is this?
I think that's gonna work out. Are you just doodling?
This is a size 10 Hoka.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Joe and I got Chris Esparza over here. Esparza, what's this vehicle? What is this old rusty vehicle doing in our driveway?
Not that rusty, but this is the start of another giveaway car.
The start, huh?
That's it. Okay, so the genesis of this project actually started with a chassis. One of our good friends had purchased a Roadster Shop fast track chassis with all the bells and whistles, powder coated, for his Chevelle project. So we were doing our normal perusing of all the marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, and now we have RestoMods.com classified, so check that out. We ended up finding a Southern California 67 Chevelle, two-door hardtop.
So what do we have here?
67 Chevelle.
Okay, so we got a 67 Chevelle. It's just a roller right now, right?
Yeah, we basically just wanted the body. We didn't even really need the chassis because we have something special planned for that. But we wanted a nice body. This one's really nice. I mean, it's got a few little things here and there that we're gonna clean up, do some body work. But we're gonna get this thing down to bare metal, get it painted, set this on a different chassis, different drivetrain. Basically, everything's gonna be new on this, so we really just wanted the bones here, this shell. So we found it. Shout out to Red Light Classics. He had this car, gave us a good deal on it, worked with us. So shout out to him for providing this start of another project. This fit our specific needs for what we were looking for. Basically, we needed a 66 or 67 GM A body.
Excited to see what we do with this thing.
So we picked up the car from Red Light Classics. He was in Eastvale, which is not too far from us. It had nothing in it. It was basically a shell, a roller as they call it, but it had the sheet metal we needed. But we already knew that we were gonna do everything new on the car, and it was exactly what we were looking for.
What are we doing today?
So we are just full-blown mock-up mode here. So we got an SS hood. So we're gonna pop this original one off, get rid of these old hinges. We have one brand new hinge and one old one, but we're doing some nice fancy Ring Brothers hinges. So huge upgrade. These are super nice. But yeah, we're gonna pull the old hood off, put the new SS hood on, put the hinges on, and start fitting it, start getting the gaps a little bit better. Get it just more mock-up, getting things further along. We decided we wanted to go with an SS hood, so we purchased an aftermarket SS hood, started fitting that with some aftermarket Ring Brothers hood hinges, and just doing everything we needed to do to mock up the car as it would be getting ready to be prepped for paint. Once we started mating the chassis with the body, we found all the adjustments we had to make, and we wanted to mini tub the car. So the chassis was equipped with narrower rear frame rails to accommodate up to a 12-inch wide wheel, but that required us popping out the factory inner wheel liners, which also support the trunk bracing, and we went ahead and put a mini tub kit in it to accommodate those wheels. Inner wheel tub, stock one, is too skinny. So we're gonna be putting a wider one in, but it starts by cutting all this stuff out. We're halfway there.
Halfway?
maybe a quarter of the way, but there's some work to do still. You know? Trunk hinge bracing needed to be modified, rear body mounts needed to be modified, but we wanted to get that big wheel and tire package in the back, make use of what the chassis was designed for.
What are you doing?
Getting ready to drill some more spot welds. We're gonna be finishing up the mini tubs. We're just welding in this panel that was in further. We cut 2 inches out, moved it in. We'll weld this in, and this is all the factory spot welds. So when we put the new tub in, it'll be welded just like factory. And that's what we did. The other side's already finished. So now we're just gonna button up this one, keep moving forward. And just like with any old car, although it was a clean shell, there was still a lot of factory undercoating. There was years of dust and dirt and grit. The car had clearly sat out in like the desert area. So there was a lot of sand, just kind of silt, dirt and sand that we had to blow out of all the little crevices of the car. And we found little treasures along the way. How to get in there? How are we gonna get it out? What is it?
Definitely rubbery.
Yeah, it's rubber. Getting that all cleaned up so that we could prep the car for undercoating. So with the car pretty much prepped on the fabrication side of it, it was ready to go to the paint shop and start getting final bodywork and prep and paint. And so that means you have to pick a color. We lean towards safe, really cool classic colors. In the 60s and 70s, really wild colors were popular, and there was a lot of wild greens that were popular out there. And we ended up finding, interestingly enough, a Lexus color. So this is a Lexus Nori green that we decided had a lot of dimension to it, really plays well in different lighting. The car looks darker or has more highlights in other lighting. This color knocked it out of the park. It came out stunning. While the car was at paint, we went through a lot of transitions in the shop space. We moved buildings. What that ended up creating was a situation where we built another few cars that we got started while the car was at paint. And so we started and finished a few other cars, brought you a lot of giveaway cars during that process. And the project would sit dormant at a lot of times. So in the background while the car was being painted, we had selected a 427 from Blueprint Engines. We wanted this car to speak for itself with the classiness of the color that didn't have what I call pants power, where it has so much power that you don't want to use the pedal, all of the pedal. You have to respect the car a lot. We wanted a car that had a lot of horsepower, but is going to put it down, make use of the chassis, be comfortable to drive, and just feel as good as it looks. We were aiming for a more high-end luxury feel. So 650 horsepower was the sweet spot. And we went back and forth on transmissions as well. End of the day, we wanted it automatic because the car was gonna have a very luxury interior. And we wanted it to feel more like a luxury car, but a fast Grand Touring type car. We went with the SilverSport 4-speed automatic, which was built to handle the capability. We knew that combo worked because it's the same engine and transmission combo that we had tried in our shop truck, which was ridiculously overpowered. We felt like it was a ton of fun. We said this would be perfect for a car that has a really good chassis that can handle it all. We got both of those in. During the move and all the chaos, we built everything on the engine stand, got the car back from paint, got it in, and that's kind of where we pick up with seeing some of the front sheet metal starting to go on the car.
If you're enjoying watching us build this car here at RestoMods, keep in mind that we build these things to give them away to people just like you. Here's a couple of our recent giveaway vehicles. We've been giving away cars and cash since 2017. We want to make you our next winner. So take a second, head over to RestoMods.com, see what we're giving away today. Now back to the video.
So this is our 67 Chevelle that we've had back for a little while from paint, and we finally started getting parts in there. So now the engine is in there. It's the 427 from Blueprint, a CVF accessory drive. We got our Fitec intake manifold on. I'm really hoping that we can get our hands on one of their new carbon fiber ones for this. That would be kind of that would be kind of cool. But yeah, so we're just starting to put parts on this thing and plan some of the build. We got like the bulkhead for the AC connectors are here. You know, you can see our column mount went in. We got a little bit of door handle action finally. So just little things we're gonna start chipping away at. We're mocking up a trans tunnel. We got a brake pedal painted and ready to go in. So we're starting to assemble this car again, and this will be the final time this thing all goes together. It's all painted now, so now it's just plumbing, wiring, and everything else. Glass, doors,
just
interior.
Plumbing, wiring, and everything else.
Everything else.
Being on a chassis like that, it just really anchors the car in a way that you're not even used to in an old car like this.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Every time we've had a car that's on a chassis, it makes such a huge difference. Roadster shop, Penske coilovers. So this car has a lot of really good parts. We're gonna start putting Wilwood brakes on it. We'll get a custom set of wheels and tires. Interior.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump in and tell people, don't worry, before you jump in the comments and roast us, these are not the final wheels
Yeah,
and tires. that
not
are
the
going
final.
on.
They're not the worst, but they're not
No.
the final.
Yeah.
So we've been plugging away. I've been doing a lot of pre-routing of wiring. So this is the whole headlight harness that I'm gonna start sorting out, but I wanna route it up in the inner fenders. So once we get the sheet metal back on it, we'll finish routing all that. The wiper stuff, that's pretty much the only stuff in the engine bay we're using from the engine side of the wiring harness. There's a couple wires for a starter I'm gonna run over to the other side. And then I started laying out the Fitec harness. So what you can see is that we have a lot of plugs already plugged in, but there's some stuff that's a little too long that I'm gonna go through and shorten and tidy up. And then on the inside, more of the same. We've been doing a little bit of dynamatting here and there to try and make this thing really sound insulated. We have a removable trans tunnel that's all dynamatted now. We got the column mocked up, so I'm starting to figure out the column spacing. I'm gonna get the dash back in so we can finalize some of that as far as column spacing. Vintage air AC box is in, starting to route all the American Auto Wire harness, and then I'm gonna make a bracket to mount some of the harness stuff for the Fitec. And I'll probably shorten all this up so that it sits right there behind the dash, tucks up real nice. We have decoded digital gauges going in here, so there's a controller box for that I'm gonna mount. And just more Dynamat going in, so we're doing a Dyna liner on the headliner, and then we Dynamatted like inside the quarter panels. We did a little bit on the wheel wells, and we'll probably just do everywhere we can so that this car feels and rides really solid. And that's about it. We made some interior decisions last week. All right, so at this point, we want to stay ahead of the project because things are back on track. Things are starting to move forward again on the project. Interior is usually one of the last things that goes into a car, but there's a lot of planning that goes on the front end of that. So we brought in Rick from RJ's Upholstery. He's worked with us on several other projects, and he kind of knew what we wanted as far as the vibe. So big day, we're choosing a leather color for the Chevelle. And because it's this really cool Lexus Nori green, I think the contrast of the interior is gonna be really important. So we're trying to decide, we were initially all thinking like a nice brown, like almost a mahogany look, but like a black or dark gray would also look really good. It would just be really toned down. So we're just gonna go through it all and see which one tickles our fancy a little more. Another huge thing in the interior, we knew we wanted a really high-end leather to cover essentially everything in the interior, but color is very important. So he brought a ton of swatches. Inevitably, it's very tough because the swatch is about this big. So you want to see how the light hits it in different ways and how it matches the paint color of the car. I mean, that pops a lot too. Good too.
How much does the wheel color matter when like working on complementing the interior?
So we have a wheel design, and then we have to order the centers. So basically, if we went brown, I would order the centers in a dark bronze tint. And if we went like black or gray in the interior, I would do like a dark anthracite.
Can we look at it outside?
Yeah.
Yes, they are different styles of leather. This is a very, very soft leather.
Because the difference is like I think this looks a lot more luxury, right? Like,
It's got, styling and all that.
Smells of rich mahogany. Leather-bound books. I think that's gonna look dope.
So once interior components were kind of picked and Rick got some of the measurements he needed, we were back at it with the mechanical stuff. There was a lot of plumbing to be done. We put full vintage air in the car. There is a lot of stuff we do before we put the front end on a Chevelle. Because of the design of these cars, there's a lot of room to work around the engine, doing some of the final touches without leaning over the fenders. Once we got some of that stuff finalized, it was time to assemble the front end and start making this thing look like a car. Brakes as well. This chassis, although it was fairly complete, we didn't have any brakes on it. So we went ahead and started assembling a full Wilwood brake kit, front and rear, with huge rotors, 6-piston calipers, back onto body assembly, and we just continued chipping away at things from there.
So we got the steering column for the 67 Chevelle. You were just talking me through something interesting that I didn't know about.
So this is the factory steering column bracket, and it adapts to the Flaming River column. So the factory column bracket has these little sliders, and you can almost see that they have little like set pins that are either plastic or really brittle pot metal. So they're designed that when these slide in here, they break away in an impact. You know, over whatever 50, 60 years that the car is old, all these have broken loose and broken off on their own from the column going in and out. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start knocking them out, and I'm gonna put a small set screw that'll have the same effect. Something that's not like grade 8 hardware, just a lighter grade hardware that'll have the same shear effect if you were to get in an accident. But it's designed basically so that if you hit the column can collapse towards the dash and absorb some of it. It'll break loose from where you have it all bolted to, but it has to also hold it in place so that in normal driving situations it doesn't slide that way.
You were talking about like at this moment where with these sets, these pins out of it,
yeah.
If you got in the car and just pushed lightly.
Yeah, if you just push down probably on this column, maybe not so lightly, but if you really put effort into it, you could probably just push the column, you know, out of position, maybe not all the way down. I want to like kind of rebuild these and make them work the way they were supposed to so that it's a little safer in an accident, but all the factory engineering for all this is going to work the way it's supposed to.
This is insane because this is like a safety feature pre-airbags, which is installed in every car now. You know, kind of similar idea is that like you're trying to get stuff out of the way and absorb impact.
Right. It's all about like impact absorbing. These cars didn't have crumple zones. Basically, a lot of them just had lap belts at this point. This was a 67. Really, like 3-point belts didn't really start making their way in their cars until about 68. We'll put 3 points in this car so that you have an extra point that doesn't allow your like torso to hit the column and your face to hit the column and the wheel. And little engineering things existed already, so I want to at least like try and make them functional the way they're supposed to.
What is your solution on this? Because you talked about a set pin.
Yeah,
but
basically I'm gonna drill out. You can see kind of the heads of where some of this is coming out, where it breaks away. So you can see it's just like a little piece of plastic, but I'm gonna do the same thing by drilling it out, not all the way through, but I'll drill through one side of it, and a little set screw will go in just enough so that it can shear out if it has to.
Re-engineering 50-year-old engineering.
Yeah, just trying to make it work. You know, a lot of people put time and effort into making this work the way it's supposed to. A lot of times you see aftermarket components that throw that all out the window. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes if you have an opportunity to kind of reuse it, then you don't reinvent the wheel, especially a safety feature.
You mean reinvent the steering wheel?
Yeah, the steering wheel. It's easy to overlook all that, and it's easy to not understand why they built any of this way, but there is a reason that this isn't solidly mounted, so I want to go ahead and just make use of that.
What's Adrian doing over here?
Trying to see if I can fit these hubs on for these lights.
Doesn't look like it's going well.
It's not.
Did you try flipping it upside down? Because that's what I've been told works every time.
Pop off. Where the spring goes, like lines up with this tab, and then these line up better, and it all looks like it's closer. There was a ton of little things that needed a better fit and finish than what you could get out of aftermarket parts. Junior's really good at dialing and all that stuff as far as moldings and trim. We wanted the car to look original, but have just kind of an upscale OEM plus fit and finish to it. So we used a lot of original like parts, but modified them, and then a mix of some custom parts as well.
Okay, so we got the originals in here, and they fit on the lights perfectly. Yeah. So this is what originally came off the car. You know, this is a problem we have, is that these reproductions are working off of a computer template. They've never even seen this car. We're having an issue where it sits, and the gaps are just wrong. We want every detail on this car to be absolutely perfect. The headlights are in, which is really cool, but as we put these on, you know, we noticed the gaps, and yeah, we're just not happy with it. So we're working on some solutions, and this is what it comes down to, is like, this is a 10-minute headlight bezel install that we're 4 hours into. You can see it on this side, even the mock-up there. And so then we have the side piece that's supposed to go over there, and it's not gonna fit. This is the difference between aftermarket parts and the originals, is that they actually had the cars, and they probably made the press out so that it actually fit on a real car, not on some computer design telling them what the car looks like. This one's not so bad on this side, you can see it, but even here there's a little gap that, you know, if you're really putting this much time and effort into a car, how much do you want to make sure that it gets done the right way?
We're gonna get started on a few little plumbing and wiring things. All right, so it's looking like a car now, and we're at a good point where there's still a ton of little mechanical things to do. I'm starting to just like mock up intake tube stuff. We got some more sensors mounted. We had to do some adapters for the oil pressure sensor so that it didn't hit. We made the dash double wall with a smooth panel so that when he goes and upholsters over this with leather, it's completely smooth and flat.
After this, I'm actually making templates for the carpet.
Oh, it's a two-piece forged welded.